All right. Good morning, everybody. We are on Tuesday, September 24th of Wake Up and Resell with the Reseller Revenue Facebook group. So if you want to join us, go to our Facebook group on Reseller Revenue and join until January. Everything is free. Join any of our live calls. We have lots of great live calls going on. Today we have a jewelry call at 10, which is the new time. It had been at 1, but I think at 10 would be better to kind of just go with the flow of the other calls. So join us. Russell's always available for beginner call type stuff and things, what little one-on-one attention right after this call. So we have lots of great calls, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays are packed full of calls. So let's get started. Today we're going to do a hit or miss day. I like to do these. Those of you that have been with me for a while know that these can be fun, and we've done these a lot in the past. So these can be either like a sale that was awesome or a sourcing opportunity that was awesome, or it could be the opposite. Like we all learn lessons along the way and we all have mistakes and we, trip once in a while. What was your miss? Or maybe you bought a lot of stuff that was not any good. It happens, but if we share with each other, we can learn from that. So yesterday I did share the one hit that a lady I've been talking to about brooches for a long time is I'm going over there Saturday morning. And so I will bring her cupcakes and from the bakery in Pella, and we're gonna have a good day, I hope, and I'll report back on that on Monday. But the one I didn't share was I went to a pawn shop I'd never been to before, and it was just gold and sterling, but somebody had told me they have costume jewelry, you just have to ask for it. So I went and I asked, and she gave me like two little things, and I was like, "You have any more?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, a little bit." So she brought a little more. And then before long, she said she had this big, huge bag full, and all it said on the outside was rhinestones. She's like, "Do you want to look through this bag?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And I shared on the Facebook group some of the finds I had out of there, and they were pretty good. But I knew there was two sets, and one set hasn't sold yet, but the one set I knew I have it at $425, and it was in there. And then this I knew would sell, and I could tell you exactly which I knew exactly which person was going to buy it too, because it's the same guy that buys all my stuff that's just like this. But um let me share my screen here. It wasn't like a major sale, but it it sold in 5 minutes, and that was in that lot too. So I could have sold this all day every day. So it was a Juliana stippled Easter egg brooch, and I knew it when I saw it in the bag, and it had one earring with it, which I did include because sometimes people will appreciate that, so if they lose any stones they can replace it with what's in that earring. So I couldn't find the other earring in the bag, but I knew it was an Easter egg Juliana. So that was a really good find. And then I have the other set listed at 425, but I had a here, I'll look at that.
Carrie,
Um
what's the
yeah,
maker's mark look like on that?
well, they don't have one, Larry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you just have to know. And then I wonder if I know I put pictures in of it, but I can't find it. Um yeah, you just it's one of those if you know you know things. So Juliana doesn't have a maker's mark. A lot of the highest end jewelry doesn't have a maker's mark. So you just have to know. The back of this has it is everything of course is prong set. And I don't think I put a picture of the back end, and they bought it anyway. But I mean the Easter egg brooch is just very uh, definitive with Juliana. Sometimes there's figure eight puddling in the solder a little bit. There's a pin stop usually. There's open back stones. There's closed. There's rivets. You just have to know what to look for. So it's one of those things. So the other one was pretty good too, but it's actually better because it's the full set, but it it's a watermelon Rivoli set. And I think I'll be able to get upper three. I've had some really good offers on it, but this one I'm gonna wait out just a little bit because it's gonna be a pretty good one, I think. But anyway, so I went to that pawn shop. They kept bringing me stuff, and I ended up with 125 pieces, almost all rhinestones. And he's like, well, who buys your gold? And I said, I don't know, whoever. And he says, do you have any with you? And I said, yeah, it's in the car. And so we ended up just trading even over. And the great thing about that was, there's the back. So see how there's open stones, there's closed stones. Lots of times they have the lip around the rhinestones, Juliana does. There's the figure 8 petaling in between the solder. There's the riveting, and it had a pin stop. So all those things told me it was a Juliana. And so we just traded, and the good thing about that was that when I've been taking my gold and silver in to the buyers, they've been rejecting like 3/4 of it because they're really picky. You know, they test it with their gun. If it doesn't meet the percentages, then they don't take it. And the sterling has just not been, you know, they don't pay you hardly anything. He didn't test any of it. He laid it out, wrote on pieces of paper, 10K, 18K, just by what it was marked, sterling, and most of it was sterling. So, I figured I had about $1,000 of gold, maybe less. But that's if they would take it all. And other places would never take it all, ever. So it ended up being a pretty good deal. I traded even over. I was pretty happy with it. He said he has a 2,000-foot square warehouse that's just trucked full of stuff and costume jewelry he didn't know what to do with, and he'll start digging it out and be more than happy to just trade my sterling or my gold for it. And you know, he'll take all of it, which is the perk. So
So you're into that for a little less than $10 a piece?
probably less than that, because if I wouldn't have been able to cash that in anywhere else. And he
Yeah.
says that he's more lenient if you do a trade, you know, and I think that was probably the key there. And then I thought, well, maybe I could have taken it in somewhere and got more cash, but I was also purchasing the opportunity to buy that stuff because he wasn't going to let me just buy it. That wasn't on the table. So, and he hadn't even gone through most of it. There was an Eisenberg set, there was an old Barclay set in there. There was, I mean, really good stuff. So, and he said that, you know, and I told him that the Juliana sets, I'll pay you $30 anytime you find them. And he's like, oh yeah, I have lots of those. It's like, I'll dig them out. Like, okay. So he's going to go in the warehouse and dig them out. So
Did
I
you
told him
make
just
him an
let me
offer
know.
for the whole box or bag?
He let me go through the whole box that he showed me.
And
I
what
didn't want the whole
percentage did you
box.
pull out? How much of it was garbage? How much it was good?
None of it was total garbage. I took well over half. So I took what I wanted. And I had never dealt with this guy before either. So I needed to feel him out. And of course he did oh, but this is so valuable. I'm like, well, to pick out the stuff you think is so valuable, we'll deal with it separate. Well, then he didn't really want to do that. And, you know, we had to do that dance for the first time. And I let him know, like, I know what I'm doing. Don't preach to me. We got this. And this is what I'm paying you or not. So, and this is what I'll trade you for. So it worked out pretty good because he doesn't really want the costume anyway. So, all right. Who's next? We're going to let Larry go next or somebody else want to hop in? Harry, what you got?
I'll go. So I don't know if this is a hit or a miss or a little bit of both. So I've been selling instruments in the fall for this will be my third year of seriously doing it. And every September, instruments just fly off. And I've been selling them, but they haven't been flying off the shelf like I expected. So I think I figured out way back, I bought a whole huge lot of instrument care kits, which includes oil, a cloth, cleaning brushes, and I've been including those with all my beginner sets. But I ran out of those, and I wasn't willing to pay $20 for each instrument to include that. So I found this deal where I can get $5 for a kit and from a wholesaler. So I started including those in the past week, and now it's back to where I think it should be, where I list it and it sells the same day or the next day. So like, in fact, this is what I'm talking about. It's simple, but it's what every beginner needs, you know. So I think having that kit, having that whole thing is complete and ready is just kind of kicks you over the edge to give me that advantage. So that's kind of my hit. And
That's awesome.
I guess
Yeah.
it wasn't this and now it's a hit. So I'm gonna go back through all my beginner instruments and make sure they have a care kit included. So
That's really that, but the whole bigger win in that was that you were able to think that through. What's going on? What's changed? What do I need to do different? And made it work.
And I found a supplier of it too. Because even at $20 for one, I don't know if it'd be worth it. Maybe it would be. I mean, I knew it was an advantage, but it's not, it was more of an advantage than I thought. So
That's awesome. All right, who's next?
I'll go. I got a comment on what Harry was just talking about. Years ago, I was making guitars and amplifiers, cigar box guitars, and the first one I put up for sale, it sat and it sat for a long time. I don't know, probably a week or two. Eventually it sold. The next one, I went to the music store and I bought 3 picks and a glass slide. And I included 3 picks and a glass slide that cost me all of about $10. And the thing sold in like 30 minutes. And so then I started buying cables and I bought the glass slides in bulk and I bought thousands of picks at a time. And I would bundle these things up and all totaled, I was into the accessories for maybe $10, but it increased my sales by, fivefold, and it allowed me to charge more of a premium for what I was doing. So those accessories, if you figure out how to get them cheap, really can help your sales. I got a dud and a couple of hits this weekend. Let me share my screen. I was at a garage sale, or no, Goodwill, my wife and I, about a week and a half ago, and they just were putting these out. They had 4 sets of Vans snowboard boots, and 2 of them were pristine, brand new. 2 of them had minor flaws. You see these little dings on the front here. So they were factory seconds, but they were asking like nothing for these. They were $14.99 a piece for these $240 boots. I grabbed all 4 of them. I've sold 2 of them so far at around the other one. I took an offer at $199, and I got 2 more to put up. So this was like an insane banger there. The other 2 that I have to sell are the 2 immaculate ones. The bust was this guy right here. Estate sale about 4 weeks ago. Got caught up in the buy, and come on, made the mistake of buying this thing for $15, and I just sold it for 24. So I barely made any money on this guy. I was all caught up because I was seeing comps in the $75 to $100 range. So 15 made a lot of sense to me. But turns out once I got it back and I measured it and I saw the brand and all that, it was not as good of a deal as I thought it would be. And then a couple of other real big hits here. If you ever run across, there's a brand of industrial controls called Allen Bradley, and they're like the industry leader for specialty machine motors, controllers, and in this case, push buttons. I'm into these for $1 a piece. There's 12 of them, so I'm into this for $12. And this was a 10x deal. These industrial controls are very expensive. New, these are like $50 a piece. Used, they tend to go for 10 to $20 a piece. So this sold a couple days ago. This was a really good one for me. And then I got another one that's got an interesting story to it. This guy right here, I was at a garage sale 2 weeks ago, and it was late in the afternoon. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and the guy didn't have a whole lot. This was what I ended up buying some ping golf clubs from this guy, but this was what started the conversation. He had 2 pieces like this, and he had a $50 price tag on both of them, and he scratched it out and he dropped it down to like 35. And I was looking at him, and he said, yeah, these are from like 1900, 1910. They were his great grandmother's, passed down. I did some quick research and saw that they were going anywhere from $40 to $200 or so. and I didn't know which variations I had. I didn't know what I was dealing with. And I said, man, I don't want that much work. Not for 35 bucks. This is going to be a pain in the butt. I got to figure out how to, it's really fragile. You see these fingers. Um, that's exposed. These things break all the time. So, you know, I was like, how in the world am I going to ship this? This lace here is a really cool process. They take real lace and they somehow coat it with something that makes it like glass. I don't know what, I don't know how, but it's pretty impressive given they did this in 1900, 1910. I did some more research and I found that in fact this was a higher end one. It was much older than we thought. It was like 1890s, 1870s because there's very little color. And the things I was looking at and seeing comps in the $50 ranges had nice bright blue colors and reds and all kinds of stuff. But in these earlier ones, all they really had to work with was gilding, and they would touch up the faces a little bit with a little bit of pink and a little, you know, some eyeballs. So an indication of my learning on this was if it's mostly white and there's only gilding on it, the chances are it's older. The other thing that I was doing some research that led me to believe that it was older was they figured out eventually that these exposed fingers and exposed really small pieces are not smart to do because they break off real easy. So if you find pieces that have very fragile, very susceptible to break characteristics, chances are it's older. So anyway, I ended up buying these for 20 bucks for this one and another one that's even bigger. It's a woman behind a piano and it's about 10 inches tall. And this one ended up selling for 130 and I'm into it for 10 bucks. So this was a score. And I got a few others. I bought this giant lot of reel-to-reel tapes. I'm into this for like 900 bucks, but I've sold empty reels for 25. I batched these things up. Here's 3 of them that went for 100 bucks. There's 2 of them that went for 28. 4 reels just sold for 160. I'm up to like 2 grand on my $900, and I still have more of these. The other quick one that's a bolo for everybody out there is this guy right here. Garage sale 2 weeks ago. Great big 20-pound box of Legos filled to the top. I kind of weigh it. I know Legos go for around 5, maybe $7 a pound, right? And I estimate this feels like about 10 pounds. So I was off. It was like 20. And I told the lady, I said, this stuff goes for $5 a pound. So I'm into this for about $2 a pound, $2.50 a pound. I'll give you 25 bucks for it. She said, yeah, sure. 25 bucks works. It turns out that there were an awful lot of these little people. So the little people in Legos, especially if they are Star Wars or superheroes, go for crazy money. So I spent about a half an hour or so, picked out all the people. I picked out the heads, the hats, the top pieces, the torsos, the legs, the arms, all of that. Threw that in this lot. This guy, here's a Spider-Man. Here's evidence of the Star Wars stuff. And it went for 200 bucks for this lot. That's only a fraction of what I bought. I mean, I still have that $200 worth, whatever it is, 20 pounds, $100 worth of Legos. Just the pieces are still for sale. But anyway, this is a bolo. If you ever see Legos that has lots of little people in them, especially if they're superheroes or Star Wars, they go for a lot of money.
Yeah, they do. The minifigs are really good. All right. Thank you, Larry. Anybody else? Mig.
So I have a hit and a miss. So I'll share my screen. Second. Where's the one? Okay, I'll just put the link in the chat. It's easier. So my hit is that my alien sweater sold. I was really excited. Yeah, so anyone who doesn't know, I thought it looked like aliens, and apparently it's not. It's boring old rope on the thing, but
And I said it was shrunken heads. So,
yeah.
you know.
But yeah, it sold in a week, so that was cool because there was that one, and then I have like one more that was like a style-based pickup kind of thing. So I find those sales more rewarding than just like finding a good brand and just like recognizing the label and just selling it off of that. So I thought those are fun. And then my miss is that when I moved, I redid my inventory system and thought everything was great, and I basically put the jewelry that I sell in these little clear bags, and then I have little drawers that pull out or whatever. Like it's like I basically just got one of those like rolling organizers that some people put in like their bathroom or whatever. And I have them in there, and then I realized the other day I'm like getting something out, and I see a pair of earrings just on the bottom of the thing, and I'm like, oh God, oh no, this is from one that sold. Yep, it was from a lot that sold. So then I had to like spend the money and like, well, I messaged the person saying so sorry, like, so I mailed it out to her, and I even gave her like a free like cheap like brooch with it. And then I really doubled down on stupidity or like just being, I don't know, not paying attention. I found another pair in the bottom yesterday. So of the same lot. It's gone too far. I'm just not gonna say anything. It was delivered a few days ago.
How are they falling out?
Oh, because they didn't have the top of the bags closed because I was like smushing them all in there, and I guess one kind of like turned on itself and like it fell over.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I always close my bags or I would end up with problems.
Yeah. I just have like this OCD thing or something, or not OCD, but I feel like it's like I worry that something's gonna happen to the jewelry, like moisture or whatever. 'Cause you're technically not supposed to store jewelry, I guess, in plastic for a long time, but I shouldn't really worry because I have like a quick sell-through rate, but I still like was leaving them kind of open. Now I'm like, oh, just closing them all.
Hey Meg, how
Yeah.
big was the lot and what's the likelihood she's gonna miss that other
I don't
set?
know. She didn't answer my messages. Well, because I sent her the one message saying when I realized it, and then another message to follow up, and I never heard anything. And got delivered like 4 days ago, maybe. So, yeah, at this point, it's just too embarrassing to write her again and be like, I did it again. So, hopefully, just the free like brooch I threw in there helps. But
Yeah, I will say that the only time, so I don't lose things very often, but when I do, it was to the same person, like 3 months apart, but the same person. And I'm like, why does that happen like that? Like, I feel like that's like I don't know. I feel you on that though.
I don't think I'll have a repeat customer.
Yeah, it's just, happens sometimes. I'm gonna end this portion of it. So if you guys want to join us for our second half of this call or any of our other live calls, you go to Reseller Revenue Facebook group and all the instructions are there.